Drawing moving pictures for film is a very skilled business. It's called animation. An animation artist will spend hours perfecting the movement of his characters, but the result is very rewarding. Look at this next film, for instance.
Grain that goes around the Earth at the equator, 18 meters in width and 2 meters in depth of roadbed. That was what was produced in 1971.
America's #1 resource are the Corn Belt soils. When that goes, ladies and gentlemen, that is the end of our civilization.
Nothing is older than man's struggle for food. To most of the Western world, there is a seemingly endless bounty at our fingertips. Hunger is easily remedied by a trip to the market or by opening the refrigerator. But to many in a world divided between the haves and the have-nots, real hunger is a daily confrontation. It's a jolting experience to remind ourselves that 500 million people suffer from some form of hunger. Every week, 10,000 human beings starve to death, the majority of them under the age of 5. The Chicago Board of Trade, the world's largest commodity exchange, the center of the world grain trade. Food is increasingly becoming a political pawn. Many even refer to it as the ultimate weapon. But will there be enough food to feed 80 million more hungry mouths each year? In the next half hour, we'll take a look at various aspects of the global food picture.
If we increase the population by 50% in a quarter century, it doesn't seem at all possible that we'll increase our food production at the same rate. The age of important famines will begin.
At the forefront of the struggle for food is the search for high-quality protein essential to human health. One of the richest sources of this protein can be found in the 70 million tons of fish harvested annually. We joined a small fishing expedition off the western coast of Mexico to observe a sardine catch. During the past quarter century, the world's fish catch has increased fourfold. Aggressive expansion of fishing fleets and technological advances have accounted for the dramatic rise. 1970 saw the peak harvest, but something has gone wrong in recent years. Various factors are involved, foremost of which is overfishing. It's as simple as the law of diminishing returns. When too many fish are caught, the depleted numbers cannot maintain their populations. As nations step up their efforts to squeeze the last drop of productivity from a dwindling supply, they only hasten the day when certain species will disappear, possibly forever. A striking example of poor resource management is the case of the Pacific sardine. During the 1930s and 40s, sardines caught off the California coast comprised 25% of all fish caught in the United States. The abundant Pacific sardine supported the largest fishery in the Western Hemisphere. Then suddenly, the bottom fell out. By 1972, the catch plummeted to a scant fraction of the peak year. Some experts suggest environmental factors such as pollution and competing species had an impact. But there is strong suspicion that intense fishing was a major reason for the drastic decline of the Pacific sardine. Many other species, including whales, are threatened by reckless overfishing. The irony is that fish are a renewable resource, if properly managed. They can provide a small but essential amount of much-needed high-quality protein for the hungry world. We look to the day when huge farms will be established, where fish population will be carefully cultivated for maximum yield and protection of the species. 1/3 of the world's fish catch is unsuited for human consumption, but as fish meal, it's an important element in livestock and poultry feed. Americans consume 20 billion pounds of beef a year, double the per capita rate of 25 years ago. The appetite for meat is not confined to America. Many other Western nations, as well as communist countries, convert vast quantities of grain into livestock feed. Faced with finite resources and a burgeoning world population, it seems certain even affluent countries will one day have to exist on far less meat. It's a chilling thought that the poor of the lesser developed countries are in need of the life-supporting grain fed to the livestock of wealthier nations. Fish and cattle are important food sources, but the crux of the global food picture is grain. We took the Flying Calypso to Mexico to visit with Dr. Norman Borlaug, who won the Nobel Prize in 1970. His research in genetics, coupled with advances in fertilizers and pest controls, have made possible a green revolution, a quadrupling of wheat yields throughout the world. Dr. Borlaug's work has saved millions of lives.
I look at food as a renewable resource. It can be produced indefinitely if you handle the soil right. It can be increased considerably on each of the cultivated areas as we know it today. There is no country in the world at the present time that's self-sufficient in all of the natural resources that it needs for its own economy. Unfortunately, in this period of the 20s and 30s, the United States at that time thought that it was in such a position, and the isolationism philosophy, and it prevailed. And at that point in time, from the standpoint of mineral resources and petroleum and all of these, it essentially was. But that day is gone forever.
Okay, inevitably with the population growth, we're going to reach a time where all the land will be cultivated, all will cultivate 20 crops every year, and maximum yield, and then what's the solution?
So I have said many times,
possible?
I have said many times that what we on the agricultural front, on the food production front, the only thing we can do is to fight a holding operation and to try to educate the people of the world, the forthcoming crisis, unless they bring themselves into balance. I'm talking about population growth with our capacity to provide this decent life without destroying the basic environment for the generations that follow. But I can foresee that maybe before this happens, there's a complete breakdown in the social political systems because of the agitation of not only hunger, but certain other shortages in the basic necessities for life, these things that I've mentioned. A growing desperation, if you want. They're all tangled. The thing that could precipitate it fastest, of course, is a breakdown in food. For the time being, a good share of the emphasis has to be on increasing the yields of the crops on the land now in production, and then gradually in countries where there is more land available, open that. And then pray to God and all the powers that be that population growth adjusts to reasonable levels.
Well, do you think that's going to happen?
I don't know. Population is increasing at the rate.
Dr. Borlaug has a unique relationship with his plants. I had heard that he actually communicates with his wheat, and I asked him about it.
You said wheat talks. It does. Those also live with it. But if you live in the bureaucracy of this capital city of the world, 1,000 miles removed from the fields where it's produced, you won't hear it.
Okay.
Because of the clutter of paper and people and
Can you
coffee cups.
translate it for me?
Yes. This particular group here success right now. We're pretty